All right, EntreBelievers, here we go. Got my girl Keva with Keva J Swimwear. Keva, what's happening?
What's going on?
Come on, let's jump right into it. So you've been working with us for how long?
I joined in February, I think at the
In
beginning of
February.
February. Yes,
Okay, so we're talking about 30 days. So
yes.
where were you when you first came in? And then let's talk about what you're doing now.
So when I came in, sales were just very, very slow. I was probably doing maybe like 3 sales a day, if even that. I had some days where I wasn't even monetizing, wasn't making any sales at all. So I knew I needed help. I just didn't know what areas I needed help in. So that's why I decided to join the mastermind.
Okay, so let's talk about what you're averaging a day now.
So now I'm averaging at least between 2,100 and 2,200 a day. So
So
orders are anywhere between like 10 to 15 orders a day now.
2,000 a day, that's 60 a month. So right now you're on pace to do your first 60K month, right?
Yes.
Come on now. So right now our foot is on the gas. So I want to talk about that because a lot of people think that if I run an ad, everything is gonna work out for me,
Right. And that's
right?
what I used to think.
That's what you thought too. So we had to go back. So everything that we do is within the frameworks, of course. And one of the first things is branding and design, and then it goes to story and content, then goes to website. So for you, we didn't start with the ads, even though that's where you may have wanted to start. We had to go back to the very beginning. So
Right.
let's talk about your brand. So you have a luxury swimwear brand, right?
Yes.
And one of the things that we had to focus on was the framing of the business. So talk about that shift of how you were able to start discovering like the proper framing for the audience that you're reaching.
So my biggest problem was, not knowing how to speak to my audience, right? Like I knew what they wanted, I knew who they were, but it was just, as you said, the framing everything correctly for them. So it came across in a way that they, would say, okay, I have to have this and not just okay, I like it and keep it moving. So just going through the modules, going through everything, it just helped me get like a clear understanding of, learning to serve instead of selling. And it's like once I made that shift, I started to see changes.
Yeah, yeah. So, and even with that, we talked about like framing, clarity has everything to do with it. So I know going back and looking at your website, of course, looking through the content, looking at the layout, you got very clear on the type of things and the messaging that you were talking to your audience. So, like, how hard of a shift was that for you?
I mean, it wasn't too hard. It was just like I said, they literally just like going in and like trying to condense everything into one, right? Because like I know what I want, I know the problem that I'm solving, but it's like as you said, keeping it simple, not confusing people. So it was just kind of taking the time to write everything down and figure it out to come up with like that one line that somebody's gonna be able to come to your site, know what you offer, and want to purchase.
Now, I noticed you just said know what you offer. So there's ideas and then there are offers, right? And we talk about that a lot with the mastermind. That most people just have an idea and it's like this is what I wanted to do. I came up with this 5 years ago, 10 years ago, and now I want to put it out. But we know that it has to turn into an offer because the offer is about the benefit, right?
Exactly.
And the solution. So talk about that, just navigating through that for your audience. So like what things became clear for you, especially being the owner of a luxury swimwear brand?
So, really, as I said, like honing it on trying to, let my customer understand, the solution, right? So I really had to like hit on the pain points, which is what I wasn't doing. So that's one of the biggest thing that you guys taught me was, to attack the pain points and then, and position them as the hero. I'm the guide and, guide them down a path that is going to show them who they'll become
Yeah, yeah.
after they have Keva J in their life.
And so this like let them come in just a little bit to your brand. What's one of the pain points that your audience were experiencing or that they do experience?
So a lot of my customers have a problem with finding swimsuits that can support a larger bust and still look good, right? Like if there are suits out there that support a larger bust, they're very matronly. And the women were like, well, I'm young. I want to be sexy too, just because, I have a bigger bust. Why should I have to, have something on that looks like a grandma? So that was the biggest problem that women were having. So I was able, now to come in and create swimsuits for women of all bust sizes.
Yeah. And just like that, you're able to get very clear. you know the problem that you're solving for the right audience, and you go from 2 or 3 sales a day, if not any, to up to 10.
Yes.
And that's really exciting. It shows a lot about you, like being able to unlearn certain things and then learning new things. Because we know that for a fact, it's very hard to
It is.
unlearn old behavior or bad behaviors, right? Especially within the branding space. So kudos to
Mhm.
you for being able to do that. What do you think? Like, what would you tell someone who's looking to rebrand or who's working or like who's stuck in certain areas?
Um, Definitely. Well, first of all, if they're stuck, they got to join EntreBeliever for one, so they can, definitely find out the problems in their business. But just kind of go through it, as you guys said. It's just day by day. You can't solve everything in a day, and I think that was my problem. I was always like trying to rush through everything, and it's like go one step at a time. Go to this,
Yes.
fix this. Go to this, fix this, and just slowly but surely everything will come together. And as you said, it's about framing everything,
Yeah.
really.
Yeah. And so when I think about it, it's like, especially for your business, we're not talking about this happening within 60 days. We're not talking about a year. 30 days it happened for you.
Hmm.
And how surprising is that for you?
I mean, I was very, very excited because trust me, I was at the point where I was ready to give up. I was like, okay, I was like, this is not working anymore. And, I just had to tell myself, like, you know what, just stick it out, see what happens. And then once the shift happened, it's like now it's just like I said. And the one thing I've never ever had is repetitive sales. Like I've done like 2,000 a day, 3,000, but to have it back to back to back to back, that's the consistency.
Yeah.
That's what I've always wanted. So now it's like it's finally happening that I have consistent sales.
Now, Keith, I will say this. You about to have your first 60K month. Now, I will say this though. Uh, you almost didn't want to do it.
You're
You
right.
almost didn't want to do it, but realize with what Tim and I do and what we see every single day, one of the things that I saw was that you already have a good idea. And so once we came in and you start working through your content, working through your website, and then you and Tim start working through your ads, setting your ads up properly. Now, like literally, you started becoming the voice for the audience.
Yes.
And I think one of the bigger dives for you was to really start learning who your audience is. I know that's been a lot of the conversations. What do they like? What do they
Right.
want to be? Who do they aspire to be?
Hmm.
What are the unique selling points that you have that they need, which are the solutions for them? And
Right.
so again, kudos to you because you've been able to really, work on it at a very high level and it's really showing. And so we got to celebrate once we see that 60K plus, and then we're not gonna stop there.
Oh no, we listen, we keeping going, okay? My goal is 100K, so let's
Come
go.
on. So I gotta ask you this though. For somebody who's on the fence or they're thinking about, if they should tap into the Unbeliever mastermind or not, what are your words for them?
Absolutely. Like definitely as they say, you always have to like just like bet on you, right? Like invest in yourself. And this is the best investment that I could have ever done. As I said, like I was literally at the point where coming into this year, I didn't know if I was gonna close my business, like what to do. I was just like I said, I was over it. And once I decided to just, get the money and put it in the right place and invest in me, it changed my life.
I'm telling you now, your attitude about it is real different now. You're excited about it. You got your life back. You're making it happen. Your brand has life to it. So I'm excited. So just tell me before we jump out, like what's next for Keva J Swimwear?
Listen, we going up and up. I am definitely, as I said, like I'm all in. I'm just big on just creating more content, getting more creative, as you said, learning to stop the scroll and, so everybody can know who Keva J Swimwear is.
Come
They gotta
on, come on.
have summer.
Talk that talk. So hey, it's time to kill it this summer. Excited for what you're doing. Glad you're a part of the mastermind. Can't wait to see you continue to blow it up.
Yes, thank you so much.